Hello everybody, and welcome to another Train Sim World 2 news video. Now, I know I'm a bit late with this one. I didn't actually get round to recording it, unfortunately. But, it was nearly 2 days ago now. An article came out regarding Train Sim World 2 of, the controls and the HUD and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be having a look at it today. Train Sim World 2, take control. Find out more about the new Immersion control scheme, updated HUD, and information screens. With Train Sim World 2, it's not just gameplay that's evolving. The sequel includes new control and interface updates that streamline the gameplay and ensure minimum distractions to keep you immersed in the experience. Upgraded menus make it faster to jump into the action. Well, they already said that once before, and it didn't really make it any faster, but you know. And brand new controls keep similar actions easier to perform. And the new HUD information screens keep the critical information on hand. Read to find out more about what's coming. Controller interface. Now, obviously, this is mostly for anybody who uses controller. I don't use a controller, but I'll have a look anyway. You can have a look and analyze what all the different controls are going to be. I won't bother with that for now. You can see it easy enough yourself. To improve the control, to improve control and allow players easier access to the in-game functions, we have included a new Immersion control scheme. This streamlines common functions and removes distracting pop-up menus in driving modes. Simple one-click controls reduce the number of button pushes required to do things like open/close doors. This means you can enjoy driving trains in a much more relaxing and intuitive way. Does that mean they finally got rid of the blooming tab HUD? Because I hated the tab HUD with a passion. It was the worst thing. You'd always click it at the most inappropriate time, and it would just be there, right in front of you, and you wouldn't be able to get rid of it. And it was horrible to try and navigate the tab HUD. So I really hope that that's actually been sorted now. For those who prefer the current Train Sim World 22 new control layout, fear not, we've included a classic control scheme. Well, I like that. I'm not going to lie. If you don't get on with the new one, or you just don't like the new one for some reason, then you can use the old one. I'm pleased they've done that. And allowed you to actually do that. On PC, you'll have the usual keyboard and mouse control operation. The choice is yours. I don't know if they've changed the controls on the Xbox controller, so you can have a look at them, like you say, and see if they're any different to what they would normally be. Pre-drive information. When loading up a new timetable service, you'll be presented with a useful pre-drive brief. Sorry. The displays information including locomotive type, overall train weight, train length, starting and finishing destinations. All this helps you prepare for the task ahead. Here you see what it looks like if you're starting out with the DB-BR406 ICE M3. Now I've already showed you what it is, shows you where you start, shows you where you end. It gives you a basic description there. What train it is, how weighty it is, how many coaches you've got, and how long it is, which is quite useful information to know. Particularly if you're driving, freight trains, sorry. Obviously, you want to know how long your train is and how heavy it is, mainly, in order to be able to work out how you should drive if you want to brake start. If you've got a light train, you don't want to brake as soon as if you've got a really heavy one. You want to brake sooner. For a heavy train. Also, the number of coaches is a useful thing to know, because if you've got 2 units coupled together, you want to know whether you've got 2, or whether you've got 3 units, or whether you've got 4 units, or, you know. If you've got more than 1 unit, if there's a possibility that could happen, that they're coupled together, then you definitely want to know how many coaches you've got, to be able to work out which stop marker you should stop at. When loading in a new timetable services, you'll be presented with a useful train oh wait, we've already read that, haven't we? Pause screen. Again, you can go onto the pause screen if you forget any of the information, and it shows you all your destination and stuff. That looks quite nice, that control scheme, or that layout there. Looks better than what we got now in a way, having to scroll through all of the stuff. If the schedule's there, then that's good, but obviously having all this extra information is really good. Want additional information on a current session? The pause screen has been changed to include more detail across 4 tabs. The overview includes your current location, time, next stop, and route map. I wonder what it says if you're not actually at a particular location. So if you're like halfway between and you pause the game. Will it give your last location? Will it give your your next location? Will it actually say where you are? Will it say how far you are from your last? Who knows? The other thing is The schedule, it gives you a full breakdown of what you're required to do, your time, stop, and accuracy. So again, we've kind of got that before, but hopefully it'll be slightly easier to digest. Speed shows the graph of how you're performing against the route speed near. Now, I'm quite pleased to see that. I didn't notice that before, but I'm really pleased to see that they've introduced a speed function, because I actually quite like looking at the graph that you get at the end of it, and I just think it's cool. It's not necessarily all that useful, but like I said, I do like the way that it shows you the graph and it maps out your speed across your route. So I'd be quite happy to sort of stop and look at the speed and see if I'm doing a good job and if I need to ease up and make my driving slightly better. So lastly, the message log keeps all your updates in one information. If you want to check back an instruction, that's good. It's basically sometimes in train sim you'll get a little envelope icon in certain scenarios that allows you to reread your last instruction, so that's good that they've done that. If you don't know where you're going, then or what you've got to do once you get there, then yeah, say you've got to pull your train into a station, but you only want to go up to a certain point, and the game's told you to do that, but then you forget where you need to stop. You can go back and look at it, so that's really useful information. Brand new HUD. For Train Sim World 2, we've changed the layout of the HUD to make critical information easier to see while at a glance while driving. This includes a clearly defined reverser direction and throttle, larger gradient display, change to brake gauges now showing percentage level, and an amp power meter to show the clear readout. Now, of course, we had the gradients, we had an ammeter, and we had all that kind of stuff, but they are larger. I'll give them that. You can see you've got your actual gradient there, 1 in 100, and you've got your power percentage there. Guessing that might be the ammeter. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, it looks. Oh no, the ammeter's one of these, isn't it? But yeah, I quite like that. 248 kilometers an hour. That's fast, and the motion blur likes it too, or doesn't like it. Depends. I bet the wheels don't like it. Includes key reversal direction. This combined with useful upgraded icons for onboard safety systems and door status means you have all the information you need for precise control. You can also make the HUD bigger in settings with help with visibility. Okay, so that's good then. If you're finding it hard to read the HUD, you can actually make it bigger, which is good. I mean, of course, then it's less immersive because it takes up more of the screen. But you know, if you're trying to learn a route, you want to learn it with the HUD. Really, it would help. The only thing that would be nice is to see the old Train Sim Classic sort of map where you got the up and you got the down, and it shows you how far you're away from the station and the signal and all that kind of stuff. That would be good to see. I can't see what the problem with adding that would be in a way, but you know, it's not there. It's unfortunate, but I guess we've got all these icons up the top. But no, I think everybody probably got used to the HUD at the bottom of the screen, really, and that would be a good thing to have as an option, sort of a separate option for this. You know, where you press a Control F5 or Control 5 or whatever the control is to get rid of the HUD. If you've got one that pops up here, that would be useful, showing you the track gradient. I think that would be quite good, because I use that to stop quite a lot of the time as well. It's alright being able to see how far you've got to stop, but unless you know how well the train brakes, you can't really judge it based on a number. You've got to have more of a visual of how far you have to stop in order to work out where you want to start braking. So, like I say, that would be useful, but, you know. Let's see. Whether you're running at high speed on the ICE 3M, across the Köln-Aachen, hauling heavy hate, yes. Yes, you heavy hate, yes. Hauling heavy freight on Sandpatch grade, or navigating the complexity of rush hour of the Bakerloo line, this upgrade user interface will give you everything you need to master your locomotives. Most yourself in a simulation with Train Sim World 2. And again, you'll be able to drop the HUDs, I would imagine, using the keyboard commands, the same ones. I'm pretty sure they were either F5, F6, or they might have been Control 5, Control 6. I can't remember off the top of my head now. I'd have to play the game to actually remember. Muscle memory, I could probably just do it without even thinking, but to actually try and recall the information is a bit harder. So yeah, that's that. To be honest, I quite like the way they've done a new HUD. It's definitely going to take some time to get used to adapt to it, and to actually sort of get used to it and think, okay, this is actually good, or if it's bad, but to be honest, it looks alright. It looks alright in my opinion. It's more obvious in a way of what everything is than the old HUD. It's slightly easier to read as well, possibly. But let's have a look at the other article. Because the slight advantage to forgetting to, or not forgetting, but, you know, to not doing the video, is that we've now got the Friday screenshots which we can look at. So let's have a quick look at that. Chosen World 2, push the button. It's Screenshot Friday. The theme this week is push the button. Have a closer look at the sophisticated control. Well, we'll see how sophisticated some of the control panels are for some of the stuff. Featured in Chosen World 2. Each locomotive in Chosen World 2 have been recreated in authentic detail. Again, we shall see what's actually functioning before we can make a decision on that. Right down to the switches, levers and buttons in each cab. There are plenty for you to explore inside each cab. Take a look at the details of the control of the Talent 2 above and browse more below. So yeah, we've got a Talent 2. Again, we've already seen the cab for a Talent 2. It sounds like they may have added some more clickable buttons, because to be honest, I don't think there were all that many clickable buttons before in it. I think there was like probably maybe 50% of the stuff was clickable, so it'd be nice if we get some more in that. Again, we already know what to expect with this. Basically everything's clickable, let's be honest, in this train. On opening the back panel of the CSX S40- SD40-2 reveals a plethora of detailed, delicate switches and circuit breakers, as you can see above. The engineer on duty, as the engineer on duty, it'll be your responsibility to learn each of their functions. Gold starting the locomotive will require the correct application of these controls. If you're a novice when it comes to complex controls, there's no need to worry. On-screen guidance tutorials are provided in order to help you get started with each locomotive. Now, there's only generally one tutorial, there seems to be, so hopefully they've done it well. They might have overhauled. I bet it's probably the same stuff, but, you know, we'll see how good they are. The 1972 Mark II offers, it doesn't say stock, which is interesting, but fair enough. It doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest. Offers an equally in-depth array of controls for you to master. Precision is the key element of driving these units as you strive to keep on schedule with the complex rush hour of the London Underground. In Chosen World 2, you sit in the most important seat on the Bakerloo line. It's up to you to get people to their destinations on time. Of course, this doesn't really tell us a lot. How many of these switches and relays and all that are actually going to be clickable? Are we going to be able to use a door override, for example? Will the doors not open unless the door override is pressed? That would be cool if we do. I reckon they probably won't bother in simulating that. The window's obviously openable, which obviously Trains in World kind of needs it. It's bog standard feature sort of thing. But, you know, there's always that possibility with DTG that they might not do something because they can't be bothered. You know. There's a load of MCBs, I believe, on the wall in the back, so hopefully some of them are clickable, even if not all of them. But it'd be nice if you could cold start a 73 stock from dead. That'd be good. Shunting operations are made easier with the intricate detailed control system on the CSX GP-2, GP38-2, you can see above. Slow moving applications will allow you to seamlessly couple up to cars waiting or safely move onto turntable or Cumberland Yard. Again, we already know what to expect from that. Moving on from that, the cabin of this ICE looks quite nice. That does look quite good. Again, we didn't really talk about the sort of the visuals of it. Again, it looks nice. Maybe a bit more scratching, and I think the control panel could do with being slightly darker on some of the bits. I was looking at some pictures, and they're slightly darker, maybe, so. But yeah, I think the weathering is something that could do with being done a bit. Could do with some bits like some of that, where the paint, you can see the paint scratched off. We could do with some of that a little bit. Bursting in with innovative railway technology, the ICE lets you take control of the train through the high-speed section of the line safely back to regular line speed of sections. With assistance from the PZB and LZB safety systems, the transition will be flawless and comfortable ride for your passengers. For the more experienced driver, both PZB and LZB can be turned off depending on how much challenge you want with driving. The controls you see above are from the AC4400CW, and you will require their absolute attention, gaining the perfect balance between transition and power, ensuring you pull those immensely heavy cars over the peak of sandbach grade. The adhesion feature will test your skills here. Thankfully, we have given you a button which you may think given you a button we think you may use quite constantly. Sand, a technique for gaining traction on the track that is nearly as old as the railways themselves. Again, we need to be able to run out sand, really, DTG. This is a thing that needs to happen. I get that some players don't want it, but that should be a tickable option. You should be able to either keep... If you're not bothered about new players, just let us turn off sand run out. You know, have an option for endless sand. But for us, normal players, we want an actual challenge. We want to be able to run out of sand. If you run out of sand, then, you know, you're going to have a fun time trying to get up that hill. And so you've got to use your sand sparingly, sort of thing. There needs to be more of that a little bit, I think. Like I say, even if it was a clickable option. But yeah, we got obviously more cab screenshots. I think we all wanted to basically just see the routes now. We're getting to the point where we've seen as much as we really need to. It's sort of, we need to see some gameplay now. But yeah, obviously we've got the HUDs and stuff, all the information, and we've got the screenshots. So yeah, I'm going to leave that video here. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!